What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Zoo. As always, if you guys are enjoying this series, make sure you leave a like on the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. In the last episode, we came through and recreated Shrek's swamp for the Nile Lechwi. As you can tell, they're all absolutely loving it. However, I hate to say this, I hate to be that guy, but today, what we're going to be working on is our final exhibit, our final habitat for the Toogii Wetlands. This is one of the rare occasions where we set out with a main idea for a zoo, and we've actually executed on that main idea pretty well. Obviously, the main idea being the Toogii Wetlands, having a zoo pretty much just dedicated to the wetlands, or the wetland species. So, after today, we'll officially have every single animal that has been added in with the Wetlands DLC, and that's pretty cool. So, what we need to do today is just sort of get their exhibit set up. Obviously, I know very little, next to nothing, honestly, about the wild water buffalo, but I'm pretty excited. I'm definitely pretty excited to get this thing rolling. So, what I want to do first is just figure out sort of the general area of where I want to create this new exhibit, and I'm thinking, since we have this big U-shaped path here, that's getting... Actually, it's not getting used. It was used one time over here and somebody just dropped trash on the bridge. So what I want to try to do is keep this new exhibit as far to the outskirts as we possibly can to hopefully drive a little bit more foot traffic around this little U-shape. So that's the main idea. And then I think they're going to need a little bit of water. So this like river ending might actually work in our favor. We may even shorten it up a little bit. I'm not 100% sure yet. Over here, though, this will be a future episode. Also, disclaimer, this is not the final episode by any means. We're just getting started on the final exhibit. But right here, we have this big open plot of land right behind the Lechwi exhibit. And so what I want to try to do over here, again, later episode thing, but I want to create a restaurant because there's been a lot of new restaurant things added that we haven't checked out yet. So I think that's what we're going to utilize that area for, and that also will hopefully drive more foot traffic out to this area. But let's first just go through the Zoopedia for this species. Thankfully, since it starts with W, it's going to be at the bottom. Very easy to find here. Oh, they're endangered. I actually didn't know that. Population in the wild is only 3,400. You guys, we got to do our part to keep this animal kicking. They are from Asia. Okay, an Asian species. I like that. Tropical, aquatic, and grassland biome. They do need a little bit of water, but they don't have a depth requirement, which is good. That actually saves us a little bit of time. But the land requirement is massive. Let's compare that to, say, a timber wolf. Oh, never mind. The timber wolf is actually more. How? The wolves are smaller. Well, they're a pack species, so there's going to be more of them. And this is also just one adult. If we add 2 adults, maybe even 4 adults, that number now becomes 8,700 square feet. Grade 3 fence. I don't really want to use the in-game fences for this one. Let's check our options. We'll see what we can actually use. So null is obviously out of the question. Glass could work. That's grade 3. One way is also out of the question. Wood logs would look good. Steel mesh. What about the chain link we used for this one? Okay, that's grade 2. Now, I like the chain link aesthetic. However, I think we're going to go back to our custom fence that we used over here for the crocamigators. And we'll just sort of reconfigure that a little bit so it can work better in this area. But I think that's the first thing we're going to do. Just go around and get a nice little fence set up for them. While we're getting going on this brand spanking new fence or brand spanking new exhibit, I've been battling the audio issues, as I'm sure many of you have heard now, for quite some time. It's been a few weeks, and I think I've gotten it down to the point where it's going to be infrequent or less frequent than it was, but the audio snap, crackles, and pops are very much still haunting me. So my sincerest apologies, you guys. I have tried everything under the sun to try to get this issue sorted, but it's just not that simple. Wait just a gosh darn minute, dude. Does anyone remember what I just said about how there's hardly any foot traffic out to this area? What are these guests doing? There's nothing over here for you to see. There's nothing over here for you to do. Yet, here they come. Interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if they're just trying to get a better look at the Toogii. Yeah, it's kind of looking like that. Super stoked for the restaurant, though. I think that's going to help get foot traffic out here way better than just one more exhibit. Also, I think our tickets are still underpriced. So let's have a quick look at that. Dude, this is going to take me forever. You guys know how OCD I can be with everything having to line up perfectly. So I'll do this here after we really get things rolling. Let's first take a look at our ticket prices. We're up to $17 for adults and $15 for the kiddos. Let's up this to $20. Pretty expensive, I know, for adults. And then we can change it to like 17, actually 18. $18 for kids. Dude, that's insane prices. Hopefully nobody complains about this. And then let's go around really quick and just make sure that all of our animals are happy. I like to just check in with them every now and then. Wait a minute, what? Only $77 per feed, and that's at grade 3 quality, you guys. That's unheard of. That's insanely cheap. Most of the other exhibits out here are easily in the thousands. Oh, we had an animal go to the vet, and they've come back. Perry! It's good old Perry! Hey, buddy. You're getting kind of up there in age. Hopefully you stick around for a while. Anyways, let's check on their exhibit as well. Just make sure they're... Yeah, look at that. $4,400 per feed for the platypus. That's kind of bonkers. Actually, you know what's easier than going around and, like, manually clicking on each exhibit? Something I often forget exists is our total animal list right here. So any bebe that we see in here, we're of course going to apply contraceptives to. And then additionally, any captive births from our smaller exhibit species, we're just going to go ahead and release those to the wild. Look at that, 7 cc's for a boa constrictor. And that's a great price. We'll see what else we have in here. Hugo. Oh, a ton of capybaras now. A ton of capybaras. Thankfully, we've already gone through and set up the contraceptives for all of them. We have a captive... Wait, we have an elderly captive birth? Oh, that's right. Okay. We ended up actually keeping 2 of our captive births to inbreed because from what you guys told me, the smaller exhibit species, they don't really care about inbreeding, or it's not as big of a deal. So we'll get rid of their bebe as well. Kind of sad. I'll admit, kind of sad. We're taking the bebe from their parents, but it's something that we have to do. It really is. We've got a couple more captive births in here, all the way up to, or wait, no, that's the different species. Okay, so 3 more of the turtlies. We'll release them. And then I think that's it for our exhibit species. So now we can just, again, go through and make sure all of our captive births have contraceptives applied. Hold the phone again, you guys. We have Bebe Toogii. We have Bebe Toogii. Oh, it looks like Bambi, dude. Hey, gold medal on this old boy, too. That is pretty freaking awesome, dude. Let's check genetics. Not super hot on the size gene, but ultimately a very, very strong contender for the next alpha male of this exhibit. I don't know if that's actually going to happen or not because, you know, old Darren over here, he's holding it down. But I think that about does it for applying contraceptives to all of the bebe. So now, it's back to the fence. I'll see you guys here in just a few minutes.
Many minutes later.
This entire fence for this new exhibit, you guys, well, first of all, it took me forever. It took me years to complete this thing, but also it was very expensive. Surprisingly expensive. I wasn't paying attention to like the specific dollar amount spent, but it was up there. It was definitely up there. We've got a few little gaps that we need to fill just around the water or the river portion, but I really like it. The most difficult part, for me anyways, with creating custom fences are the turns. So for this one, thankfully, I was able to do it sort of in sections since it is just a big rectangle, which definitely came in handy. It was a lot easier to just duplicate larger sections than doing it panel by panel by panel, but it's done. it is finished. So I think what I want to do next is just go around and patch up all of these places, but then also, this isn't technically a habitat yet. So what we need to do now is take our null barrier and just start going around making sure that it'll actually count this as a habitat. And then we'll be able to, you know, put doors in and so on and so forth. Well, I can honestly say I have never, and I mean never, had that happen to me before mid-recording. I forgot that I borrowed my power cable for my camera for a Bluetooth speaker, and I forgot to plug my camera back in. So that's all that was, but it did give me a nice break to go out and throw the ball with the pups. So that was good. Anywho, we now have a completed barrier, a null barrier, all the way around this piece, and we've also extended a lot of the fence into the water so that it looks nice and also will hopefully contain the animals a little bit better. Next up, what we need to do before we get the keeper's like gate figured out, I think what I want to do is grab one of these bad boy billies, maybe one that doesn't have a transformer included, something like this one over here, and we're just going to duplicate and drag it on over into position. So I think right over here is going to be the best area for this. Kind of nice, the trees are almost laid out perfectly for it already. Don't even have to do any real editing to this thing. We will have to lower it down just a tad though, so the path, you know, isn't elevated. But I think this is going to work out great, dude. Let's just slide it back a little bit more, just until it's about to hit that tree. All right, check that out. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm hoping that if we add the keeper gate right about here, or maybe even on this one, we'll be able to create a path leading over to that keeper facility. So let's go into barriers once again. We'll grab the glass habitat gates, and then this, I think right here is actually going to work better. So we're going to place that right in the middle of that fence line. Right there looks pretty good to me. Now, into paths. Dude, my mouth is so dry. I don't know if it's just because I was playing with the pups or what the deal is, but gotta stay hydrated though, ladies and gents. Very important. Do not forget to hydrate. So this, actually, let's do this path first, I think. So we just want a very basic, no. A staff path, please. No, not that. Okay, we'll just replace that. That's fine. That one can get connected up right there. And then we just need a little, like, crossover section leading from here to this other side. That looks awful. Why is this being so wonky, dude? Okay, let's get rid of both of these then, because it's getting too weird. And we'll bring this one out and straight across like so. Now we'll connect it up right there, and then just have to connect all the doors. There we go. See, that looks a little bit more normal now. Quite a bit happier with that. Now I'm curious, how large is the habitat we've created? 78,000 square feet of land and 18,000 square feet of water. I do think I'm gonna adjust the land around the water because, again, much like what we did with the Lechwi exhibit, I just want to create more of a gradual slope leading into the water. Its current configuration is a bit harsh, and I do think the animals will kind of struggle trying to walk down into the water from that. So we'll adjust that here in a few minutes, but first, let's check out the Animal Trading Center for the wild water buffalo. Right off the bat, we really don't have too many solid contenders with the wild water buffalo. I think we're just gonna go ahead and adopt this one here, a male, and then we will, of course, send him to quarantine first. There we go. Now we just need to find ourselves a female. We've got another male in here that has some better stats than the one we just adopted, but longevity is pretty well shot, and they're already 11 years old. So let's go with this female, I think. Bronze medal. Seems like a solid adoption, solid purchase. There we go. All right, and now we have an even better. It's fine. It's fine, you guys. Everything is cool. So we will let them sit in quarantine. Once they're cleared, we'll bring them into their new habitat that still has a long way to go, believe me. But I'm not quite finished checking out their Zoopedia. I need to see what their group size is. So 3 to 30, 1 male and 29 females. So let's go ahead and adopt an additional female then. In that case, Zoa right here. Perfect. 68 conservation credits for her. And again, we'll send her to a quarantine. Now that we have a new habitat for a new species and a new keeper area, we of course now need another keeper. So we're going to go into staff here, grab ourselves a keeper, drop him down right there. And next what we need to do is create a work zone for that keeper. Setting these up is relatively straightforward. We just have to select the habitat, the staff resting facility that the keeper will use, and of course the keeper hut that the keeper will be using. And then this one we'll just name Wild Water Buffalo Keeper. We'll then just verify real quick that they are in fact set on the Water Buffalo Keeper roster. And there we go. We are ready to rock. And now we wait. Actually, while we wait, I'm going to tackle the terrain, and then hopefully they'll be done in quarantine. We can get them added in here. There we go, right on time. It looks like all 3 of them have finished up in quarantine. So now we can add their water back in since the terrain is finished. I did have to go through and add just another glass barrier so that we could separate the Nile Lechwi water and the rest of the river system. But that is looking fantastic. Much more gradual slope now. I think that'll be a little bit better for those animals. Oh, dude, we've got another inspector here. Okay, they're leaving. They're leaving. Good. I was like, I can't add in the animals while the inspector's here, because then, you know, we're going to lose points or whatever. So since they're leaving, I think we're actually good. Let's go ahead and start moving all these animals over. We're just going to select all 3 of these animals and move them into their new habitat. They're going to need a lot of stuff. Like a lot of stuff. Did we not move them? What the heck, dude? Oh no, maybe we did. Maybe we did. Let's see. Yes, we have some caretakers coming up right now. They're going to start grabbing these animals and bringing them out. So let's go ahead and fast forward. I think we're in a decent enough spot to be able to do that. And now we're going to be able to see just how massive these animals actually are. Dude, they're just about as tall as these workers. That's kind of intimidating. Not even going to lie. They are very, very large. Also like a more gray brown than I was expecting. I don't know why, but I was expecting a much more dark brown. Very cool color. And look at those horns, dude. They're like almost interlocking right here. I did just notice that I need to tweak the fence around this door because that's going to drive me nuts. Look at that. No more clipping through the door. It's looking great, dude. This is so sick. Look at that. They're just making themselves right at home, too. Having a heckin' snoozle over here. Let's see what you guys actually need. Well, guys and girls actually need. The terrain is not super great for you, I will admit. I know, you're kind of upset about that. And then you're also going to need some hard shelter. We'll go ahead and pause things really quick, head into terrain painting, and we'll get going on fixing their terrain. So, they need less sand, they need more rock, more soil, a little bit less long grass, and then quite a bit more short grass. That should be a pretty easy fix. All right, Water Buffalo, that should be quite a bit better for you. There's still maybe too much long grass, but visually, you can't really see all that much of it. So, I'm taking this as a win. I feel like they're going to enjoy themselves just a little bit more here. Now, as far as their coverage goes, they will need quite a few plants. Thankfully, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of different plants and things that we can use from the Asia continent. So, that's good news for us. Enrichment, obviously 0. Now, before we get too carried away with everything else, I do think we should probably add in all the stuff that they're going to need, like food, for example. That's a pretty important one. So we've gotten our filters set up now for the wild water buffalo. Let's see what all we can add. I think obviously we should just add a big, massive food tray over there for them. Since they do need hard shelter, and I don't really feel like building a custom shelter for them at the moment, I think we're gonna add the temporary East Asia shelter for them. It's nice, you know, it's already Asia themed, so that works out sort of in our favor. We're just gonna place that right over there, and then underneath that, we'll of course be adding some extra large straw bedding. And now for some toys. The grab ball is a favorite among many species. We'll put one of those over there. The grazing ball feeder. I'm gonna try to put the ones where the keepers actually have to enter the habitat and, you know, interact with them, fill them with food or whatever. I'm gonna try to put them closer to the gate over there. So the feeder ball we'll just place right there. Oh, this one's blue? Can you change the color of these things? Oh, you absolutely can. Okay. I thought we were getting like a different one entirely from the brown one over in the Lechwi exhibit. See what else we've got in here for these dudes and dudettes. The hanging grazer feeder. We'll place that right over here, sort of near the water. Again, trying to get them, you know, up close to the fence so the guests can see them a little bit better. And then anything else? A mud bath? That could be cool. There's sort of like a little peninsula going on right here, so I'm just going to try to use that to our advantage. And we'll place that down right there. What else, what else, what else? Ooh, the rubbing trees, or the scratching trees. That is pretty cool. We'll place one of those over there. We'll place the other one. Maybe, oh, we've got too much over here. Let's add one clear out there. We'll have another just here. And one more maybe right there. I don't want to add too many trees because, you know, we're going to have to add a bunch of foliage later on anyways. So I just don't want to concern ourselves with that too much at the moment. And then a scarecrow feeder. It's going to be the last thing that we'll add in for this habitat. We'll just place that right there. Perfect. Okay, we'll hit play. And then let's check in with the animals. And we'll see if they're happier. Nutrition is going to be poor for right now. All we have to do is a little bit of research on them. And we'll be able to improve their food grade. No sweat. So let's get rolling on that, shall we? Under vet research, we're going to have probably Marlin. Let's have Marlin do something for once. And he is going to start research on the wild water buffalo. You guys happy? Or guys and girls? Very majestic looking beasts, aren't they? Dude, they're so massive. This is easily the largest species that we have in the entire Toogii wetlands thus far. What do we got going on? Oh no. Bebe. Bebe is stressed. Bebe, you're stressed because you're not hiding behind any of the foliage that I've added for you. Come on now. Use your noodle. First use on the scratching tree, potentially. What are you actually scratching right now? Because your whole face is actually inside of the tree. Okay, suddenly not interested? Oh, you going for the booty scratch? No? What are you doing? What's actually happening right now? I'm so confused. Anyone gonna have a crack at the ball feeder here? Wait, what's going on with you? You guys see that too, right? There's definitely some transparent lines. Oh, and in this one too? Nice, that's lovely. Wow. Not only the biggest species we have in the Toogii wetlands thus far, but also the biggest dookies. Isn't that just lovely? It does look like a couple of the guests are starting to make their way out here. We don't yet have any like habitat education boards or speakers or anything of the sort for this species, but we usually do that in the next episode shortly after we, start their exhibit. What are you trying to do with the fence here? Are you trying to break through it, or are you just eating grass? They don't seem to be afraid of the guests whatsoever. Are they like a shy species, or what's the scoop-d here? Here we go. Relation with humans. Confident. Confident. Can guest enter habitat? No. Just flat out no. This is definitely not a petting zoo type species. Unless you want to get speared by one of their massive horns. By all means, help yourself. But yeah, I can't imagine that would go over very well. So, obviously we're still missing a ton of additional decor and things for this new habitat, but I do think that's probably where we're going to wind things down at for today. So once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.